Sup, it's your unfriendly red rat neighbor Kevin Carnage, and I'm back with a brand new video. This is part 2 of What If Deku Was an Auditor. Before we get into that, I like to point y'all attention to the description below. There are what if creators that I think are amazing, such as Six Master of the Master Clan, Kidzus of Kidzus Studios, Lord Titan, Gratify, and YK, just to name a few. These are what if creators that I think are totally awesome, but that's just my opinion. Head on over to their page, check out their contents, and tell them the Carnage Man sent you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. Tickle that bell notification to get notified whenever I upload a brand new video. Don't forget that my TikTok and Discord is also in the description below if you want to see me having a karate session with my dog, getting a couple of cats drunk, or that short animation that I did a couple months back. Head on over to my TikTok page. Don't forget to like and follow. If you just want to talk to a nigga, holla at a nigga, say something, head on over to my Discord, also in the description. So when the last time we left off, a very bad high-end gangster committed a crime in front of Deku. Deku testified against the man. They have video evidence and shit about the man committing the crime, but he ended up out of the court as a non-guilty person. Basically, he got out of the court free, scot-free, no regret. No consequences for his action, meaning that he probably must have paid off the judge and juries, you know what I mean? But because of Deku testifying against him, how can I say, gathering evidence against him, he had it in for Deku. So one night after Deku, Deku and his wife went to sleep, Deku woke up a couple hours later, probably to drink some water, when he noticed flashlight walking through his hall. These were very, very bad men sent by the unknown villain. At this moment, we weren't gonna call him Tsukomiyama. Tsukomiyama is a well-known entrepreneur of MHA Universe, with him supplying various items to the military, police, and a couple gears for known heroes throughout the MHA universe. But he also has a dark side where he supplies drugs, weapons, and human trafficking for basically the mafia, mobs, and yakuzas, you know what I mean? So to the public, he's a good guy, but he's not really. He's really the drug peddling fiend that likes to have sex with children. No, scratch that. But anyway, so they entered Deku's house. They were searching. Deku sees them, grabbed a bot or golf club, proceeded to where the house phone was, picked up the house phone, tried to make a call, but he was then apprehended by one of the goons by gunpoint, telling Deku to put down the gun. Deku then proceeded to put down the gun, as he informed them that they could take all the money in the house, and the money under the table and over the table is all that they have on them. He chuckled as he told Deku that they're not here for money. In fact, they're here for him and his entire family's life. Few moments later, Uraraka heard Deku screaming, as Deku told her to take their two children into the safe room, as Uraraka did. But because of her hero nature, she proceeded to run downstairs, as she got gun butted. She got the butt of a gun to the temple of her head, as she fell to the floor. Deku, seeing her fall to the floor, completely lost his entire charade. The good guy, he is a good guy, not into conflict. He rather avoids that. because of the contract stated after his retirement. Oh, and about what I remembered. So remember in the factory where Deku kind of used his skill to apprehend the villain that Uraraka was apprehending. So Deku didn't actually physically fight the person. He maneuvered around the person, simply just maneuvered around the person and made the person make his own mistake. So Deku didn't physically attack the guy that knocked out Uraraka temporarily. So the villain Uraraka was trying to apprehend a couple years ago. After using the quirk enhancer, knocked out Uraraka. Deku, seeing this, kind of intervened, but he did like an ultra instinct type move where he dodges and weaves and plans how to make his opponent injure himself. So that's what happened. So he didn't use any of these techniques and he didn't breach any protocol. But after seeing his wife fall to the ground, a streak of blood hit the carpet. Deku unleashed his true potential as he then grabbed the gun. The guy closest to him, he grabbed his gun as he pointed to the guy closest to that guy and fired straight into the brain. So Deku went all how can I say? Deku went all gun ballistic as shots could be heard fired throughout the house, and they were like, "Where is he?" The enemies were like, "Where is he? How could you lose track of him?" Deku was moving so fast that they couldn't even understand what was happening as they fell one by one. All you could hear was stabbing, gunshot, stabbing again, gunshot, 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 stabbing, stabbing again, like, you know. And the last person left looked around to see nothing but carnage surrounds him, and he still cannot pinpoint where Deku is. He got so scared he tried to run away, but as he opened the door, Deku was standing in the front door outside. How is that possible? Plot. But he was standing outside as the man was trying to run outside. Deku then thrust a kitchen knife into his head. His eye color finally changes. Granted, this is not a quirk. This was due to years of training and honing his skills, trying to master his body, soul, and mind. With him accomplishing that, whenever he activates his killing intent, his eye color changed to a green yellow like state. I guess just around the pupil itself. He finally calms down, went over to Uraraka as he tried to wake up Uraraka. Uraraka finally wakes up. He explained to Uraraka that they need to leave immediately. Uraraka didn't question the situation because as she woke up, she saw the carnage inside her house. As she just got up, went for the kids, they got in a car, and they drove away. We now at the scene where the main villain in this specific universe is now conversing with an unknown source on the phone, unknown person on the phone, as the unknown person was trying to warn him about messing with such a guy, as they already got a few. They don't have all the details, but they have reason to suspect that this guy was more likely the greatest assassin known to man. So, but the main villain dismissed this as this is just a fluke. In fact, he died years ago, about 6 years ago, right? Correct. That's about the time Deku has been retired. So, boom. Deku Uraraka, their kids finally arrive at the at a motel at the entrance of the town. They went in. They booked a room for four, and they then place their children back to sleep. Because again, this is the middle of the night, so they place their children back to sleep as Uraraka then whispered to Deku that they need to talk. A few moments later, they're in the cafeteria of the motel, stating that if this cafeteria has a motel, they're in the cafeteria of the motel. Well, silence, was the loudest thing there for the moment, as Uraraka went straight to the point, asking Deku who he is. Deku was a little apprehensive of answering this, as Uraraka then asked the same question several times. Deku finally kind of opened up by saying he's an auditor. Basically, he's the last person you want to see at your front door. It was his job after he finished high school. Not after he's finished high school, he went and did policing for 5 years. He got recruited by MH Secret Service. He did that for about 2 years, and the rest of it till recently he was an auditor. So he's explaining this to Uraraka. Uraraka is quite shocked, not knowing that the appearance Deku created made Uraraka want to protect him. So that shattered her entire reality, but then opened a new reality to know that her man is not a bitch. She rejoiced about it. To be exact, she was in the beginning of Deku explaining himself a little scared, but at the end of Deku explaining who and what his job was, she got really happy knowing that he didn't just kill random people. He killed people that were basically menace to society, or people who would cause the world great disaster. Not because they're the percentage of people who don't have quirk, and they're envious of those who have quirk. So Deku's job was to investigate and, if necessary, eliminate. So he did that for quite a while. Now that he is now being hunted by the main villain. In fact, I changed the name from whatever I called him a couple minutes ago because I literally forgot. I changed the name to main villain, so he's now a main villain. And this specific person does have a quirk. His quirk is able to manipulate iron, and basically just manipulate iron, similar to Magneto. So let's just call him fucking main villain, Magneto. He's basically a Magneto of MHA, but a very wealthy and very influential person in the society of MHA. You know what I mean? So Deku finally explained who he is. Uraraka could be seen blushing a bit, actually getting a little bit too hot in there, and we cut to dark. So y'all know they went fucking. I mean, you know what? I'm not gonna change it. So Uraraka and Deku, after Deku explained herself, Uraraka got really horny about it, and they went fucking. Cause she knows her man is like this well-trained badass for glory. So she's really excited about it. Deku was really scared explaining it to her, but after a few hours of passionate bliss, Deku started revealing a whole lot of other stuff. Even the death of his friend Bakugo, which will prompt that conversation he had with her back when they went to her high school reunion stuff. So she finally understand that he was in denial. He was blaming himself for that death, and Uraraka ensured that that fool Bakugo, whoever he was, would like you to blame yourself for his death. In fact, he'd probably be turning around in his grave for how Deku described him, stating that you weakling, you could never be the cause of my death. That would be impossible, and stuff like that. So Deku finally cheers up, and next morning, at the sunrise, Deku, Midoriya, Uraraka, and their kids, got up and went across the road because there was conveniently a diner next door to the inn or to the motel. They went over have some breakfast, but Deku then noticed from his side eye that there were a couple cars stationed in a location which seems very suspicious. Deku brushed it off for a little while as they went into the diner, ordered a few pancakes and a few other stuff. They enjoyed eating. They could be seen laughing, having a good time. A couple other customers in the spot enjoyed getting free serotonin as they were smiling because of the family being so cheery and happy. A moments later, Deku sees that the window of the car that was very sus earlier rolled down as he could see that the point of a baby Uzi. If y'all don't know what a baby Uzi is, this thing out of the window as gunshots starts firing. The other two cars that were near him also opened fire. Deku grabbed his kids. Uraraka fell to the floor using her quirk to levitate a few objects in front of them. And guns kept firing to what seemed to be forever. Deku hand his two kids over to Uraraka while Uraraka kept using her quirk to pile up every debris near her to construct a shield so bullets couldn't hit her or her kids. Basically hit her kids because her back was turned as she was opening up so that if any projectile came through, it would have hit her rather than her kids. So remember, Uraraka is a very, very loving, caring mother. In fact, she takes time out of her busy hero duties on lunch break to go have lunch at her children's school, where she sits down and have lunch with her kids. Deku left them briefly for a moment as a few moments later, gunshots started slowing down as they got up. Since they were a little bit fresh, so they took their time to get up, and they saw that the cars were still there, but blood was leaking out from the doors. Uraraka went over to ask if Deku killed them, and Deku ensured that no, he did not. He just injured them to the point of them not being able to even lift up a gun anymore. Because honestly, Deku is very angry. When he was attacking the people that were attacking his family, he was constantly repeating, "You don't come after me while I'm with my family," punching in the villain at the same time, punching the gunman at the same time as he moved from car to car and defeated his enemies with swift precision. And granted, he was angry, but he never lost focus. They gathered up. The man leaned them up to the side of a building, instruct the diner and the motel manager to call the police. As Deku, took the keys from one of the injured individual and start the nicest car. He then instruct his children to get in the back seat as Uraraka then got in the front seat. before, as he was planning to drive, one of his youngest son refused to put on a seatbelt. He brakes uh, dramatically as his son hit his head at the back of the seat. Deku then reminds his son that's the reason why you need a seatbelt, so put your seatbelt on. His son then proceeded to put his seatbelt on. On the road, Deku and Uraka are now conversating on how they are going to be dealing with the situation that they are currently in. They came up with a few plans as to find a way to accomplish this feat without causing too much casualties. As Deku's plan was go bang on his front door with a bunch of weapons and ensure that he understand the meaning of fear. Uraka dismisses this as they continue drive, and they went as Uraka and Deku are now in front of Uraka's parents' house. Uraka instructs her parents to look after their kids. As she was about to enter the car, Deku hit her in the stomach, allowing her to pass out. As he then told his in-laws to also look after Uraka, and he promised to return. They asked him if something is wrong, and he replied with, "Nothing's wrong. Nothing at all. We'll soon be back in our lovely, happy home." He then drove off. Later on, the car actually broke down, so he had to come out and then take a bus. Basically, he was going to meet the main villain in a bus, but something came up as a truck was driving next to the car. Noticeably, 4 to 6 drunken men was in it. The path the bus was taking was a narrow path, but they were still trying to overtake, as they then crashed into a garbage bin, causing the bus to stop abruptly. They then enter inside. Deku was still kind of angry and still trying to finalize how is he going to take care of the main villain. As he was looking at the men, he got a eureka sensation, because the men were talking, and one of the men ensured that he was the main villain's younger brother. Deku put a very maniacal smile on his face as they were being rowdy. They already made 3 individual exit the bus. They were trying to intimidate Deku to get off the bus, as they blocked the path of 2 young girls and stuff. So Deku was really happy at this moment in time, as he says, so your main villain's brother. The guy stood up, looked at, and says, "Yes, who's asking?" As Deku, got up out of his seat, went to the front of the bus. The bus driver had her phone in her hand. Deku removed her phone from her hand, placed her back into the seat, and instruct her not to move, not to make a sound, not to call the cops, because that's gonna be bad. He then turned around and says to the man that asked the question, "Who's asking?" Deku turned to him and says, "The guy that's going to fuck your brother up. Come at me." Oh, and that's after he took the magazine out of his gun and threw it out the bus door. A fight starts with Deku and the 6 men inside the bus, with Deku manhandling all of them. Yes, he's taking a few blows of his own, but he's causing more damage than he's taking damage. He ensured not to harm main villain's little brother too much. He's beating the shit out of main villain's brother, bro. He's not going to kill him, but everyone else with him, sadly to say, they're gonna die. After the end of that, because they already dead, I'm not gonna do a lot of explanation about it. He then took the unconscious little brother of the main villain, and a few moments later, we time skip a couple hours, the little brother finally wakes up, but he was tied on a wall and butt naked, as Deku had a baby cow. How he got a baby cow so fast, I don't know, but he had a baby cow. And flashback, Deku is at a farm located a couple meters away from where he has the main villain's little brother tied up, and he went over to ask them for the hungriest calf they have. They ensured that they were about to feed, and Deku says the hungrier the better. He gave them some money, and he took the baby calf, or whatever. And now we're at the scene where Deku is now interrogating the little brother. As he mentioned, do you know baby cows have they have extreme sucking powers. I don't really know if cows really have very powerful sucking powers. It was this movie I watched with two cops. They were searching for a little girl. They got this guy to try to have him explain where the little girl was. He was being a little hard of talking, and they made a cow suck his dick. Turns out that was quite painful for some apparent reason. I'm not sure if it is, but yeah, so I'm using it now. So he was going on hard trying to figure out what is a baby cow going to do to him. Deku proceeded to pull down his trousers, so he wasn't completely naked. He still had his underwear on. At the sight of his manhood, the cow's eyes opened widely as Deku tensed the hold on the cow's restraint, because the cow was like, he was going at that. As he saw that wang drop, he thought it was a nipple, and he got all up on that. I mean, he hasn't gotten it yet. This startled main villain's little brother, but he was still apprehensive of answering any questions. Deku was asking questions back and forth to confuse main villain's little brother, but main villain's brother's mind was like a steel trap. Deku got tired of it, and he then proceeded to let the cow go. The cow went straight for his dangalang, and he started sucking like main villain's little brother started yelling. Basically, like I said before, I'm not sure if that shit is painful, but I wanted to have a cow suck a dick in my video, so here we're having a cow suck a dick. This is not hentai, or this is not hentai. And honestly, don't demonetize me, and I have already and said that this is not for fucking kids. So the guy was writing in agony for some apparent reason, because his dick is getting sucked by a cow. He then finally revealed the location of his big brother, as Deku didn't promise him that he was going to help him. He got the information, and he left the guy with the cow, as the cow continued feeding. And the only thing you could hear from the background, because Deku was walking out of the building, all cool and dramatic like, was screams of pain, shame, agony, and regret. I mean, so yeah, he finally gets the location of where the main villain was. As he went over to another spot, because you all know Deku needs to suit up. He put on a tactical suit, bulletproof vest, armed himself with a couple guns, grenades, and a rocket launcher, because we all need a rocket launcher when we're going to raid an entire significant lab or some shit. I'm not so sure. So Deku got all ready and stuff, carried some stuff on him, packed some stuff in the back of the car, which he stole from main villain's little brother and stuff. A few moments later, after Deku was doing some cool drifting driving like situation through the back street of Tokyo. I'm not so sure if it was in Tokyo, but we're gonna say it's in Tokyo, and finally arrived at the destination where he was told main villain would be. So boom, this is where we're going to be leaving this specific what if off. This was what if Deku was an auditor. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this one. I enjoyed making it. Don't forget to check out all the links in the description, such as Six Master of the Master Clan, Kid Zeus of Kid Zeus Studios, Lord Titan, Gratify, YK, just to name a few. These are what if creators that I think are amazing, but that's just my opinion. Head on over to their page, check out their video, and tell them the Orange Man sent you. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, tickle that bell notification to get notified whenever I upload a brand new video. Know what I mean? Know what I mean? You feel me? But anyway, this is your unfriendly Red Rat neighbor Kevin Carnage, and I'm planning on singing a song. Mary Jane, how I love you. Mary Jane, how I need you. I can't see my life without you. Mary Jane, I love you. When I wake up in the morning, you next to me, I kind of feel alright. I really feel blessed. Every day I pray to you. You know how much I love you, Mary Ganja. See you in the next one.